Hey friends, in this one we're going to talk about where things stand with the USCIS furlough issue. Guys, it's August 12th, 2020, and there's no money yet. USCIS has not received the money yet, and so it's threatening to furlough on August 30th 13,400 employees out of 20,000 people. And so this is major news, and in this video you may not like what I have to share with you because this is actually one of those bad news updates, but you need to hear what's going on anyway. So if you'd like to hear more about where things stand with the furlough with USCIS, watch this video. For those of you who are new to me, welcome. I'm Latoya McBean-Pompey. I'm an immigration lawyer in New York, and I've been tracking this USCIS furlough issue for quite some time now. I'll link to my other videos on it so that you can go back and watch those videos. Now, let's get into it. Where do things stand today with the furlough issue? Well, firstly, we know that USCIS needs $1.2 billion in order to get itself out of deep money problems. Now, we also know that they are going to end this fiscal year with a surplus. Fiscal year ends on September 30th, and they will end with a surplus. However, they are projecting a major budget shortfall for next fiscal year starting October 1st. And so this money would basically get them through the rough times that they are anticipating that they will face starting October 1st. So at this point, they have laid it on the table to congressional leaders that they need money, emergency money from Congress to get them through this rough patch, and they need $1.2 billion. They were hoping and praying, and we were all hoping really as well, that the money would come through for them in the next stimulus package. However, stimulus talks broke down last week on Capitol Hill, and legislators are not even really coming together these days to reignite the negotiations. Yes, there's some rhetoric from some of those leaders about needing to get back together, but no hardcore real negotiations have started up again. And so that's very disappointing because the $1.2 billion was part of the HEALS Act, which was introduced by Senate Republicans, and that was shot down. So then there's another bill on the House side, which I will talk with you guys about, like where things are with that bill. I'll show you exactly what movement has happened with that bill shortly. So stay tuned for that detail. The HEALS Act, the money was in the HEALS Act, but that didn't go through. We know that it was not in the HEROES Act, which was introduced by Nancy Pelosi and passed the House of Representatives. But the money was not part of that legislation. And we also know that President Trump just several days ago signed 4 executive orders which promises to solve some of the problems that the leaders on Capitol Hill were having with some major issues. However, none of those executive orders touch on a USCIS bailout. So that's where that things stand with that. Now, let's get into the legislation that was introduced on Capitol Hill, which would provide the funding that USCIS is requesting. And so, guys, just to refresh your memory, we're talking about HR 7508. And HR 7508 is a bill that provides supplemental appropriations to USCIS for maintaining the projected fiscal year 2020 and fiscal year 2021 levels of operations for immigration adjudication and naturalization services, including maintaining current staffing levels and current contracts at full performance. Now, what has really happened with this? The last time I spoke with you guys about this, I shared with you that really it doesn't have very many supporters on Capitol Hill. And guys, I'm sorry to report that they're still at 12 legislators who support it, including just a handful of Republicans. And so here we have a bill that was just introduced, and quite frankly, no real action has been taken on it yet, right? No action has been taken on it other than the fact that it was introduced in the House on July 9th. But guys, as you know, in order to become law, right, this little timeline tells you that a bill must pass the House, pass the Senate, then make its way to the president for signature, and then it becomes law. But this legislation, unfortunately, isn't going anywhere. It isn't going anywhere. So that's very disappointing for USCIS and for many of us who are also looking for this bailout so that immigration services may continue. Now, what else do you guys need to know what's going on? Well, the Senate and the House, the members are actually not even on Capitol Hill these days. They're actually back in their districts, and for many of them, they're campaigning because they're up for re-election in November. And so there isn't any real legislative activity happening these days. And we know that the House is on recess until after Labor Day. So that gets us beyond that August 30th deadline that USCIS has put on the table. But I will say this, friends, CNN reported out on this issue and interviewed a congressional aide who is working on the bailout issue. And this individual says there's currently no plan B, and adding that the next likely opportunity to shore up funding is in September through appropriations legislation unless a COVID package comes together. The question is whether USCIS will delay furloughs and give us that opportunity. So here you have a congressional staffer who is saying that, well, there might be an opportunity for USCIS to find these funds in September when we start talking again about appropriations, right? Money, putting these bills together again. And there's a hope that USCIS will not furlough its people, but just hold on till September, see what happens on Capitol Hill, because there is a possibility that the leaders may come together again around the stimulus talks in a real way and pass something, and that something would include USCIS bailout dollars. So we'll see how USCIS responds to this idea of waiting until September. Certainly their lobbyist is working on these issues feverishly, I'm sure. So friends, that's the latest that's going on with the furlough news. Again, the furlough is still slated as of today for August 30th, unless Congress comes back together and rally around a stimulus package and pass it. The likelihood of the furlough happening is very strong at this point. But let's just continue to watch and see how things shake out on Capitol Hill. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a thumbs up, share it with other people, subscribe to this channel as well, and hit the notification bell so that you'll be the first to get these videos. Guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.